Hey everyone, another day and more garden chores. And while I know this is not the most glamorous part of gardening and it's not nearly as fun as harvesting, I would say it's more important because it's how you get those beautiful harvests is by doing great prep work. We're going to start by doing something I admittedly should have done weeks ago, and that's redo the peppers. So what I'm going to do is dump the soil in one of my raised beds, but reuse the tags. Now might be too late to do my spicy peppers, my poblanos, but we're gonna try anyway. And I'm also gonna retry ground cherry now that I know that these require light for germination, unlike your traditional tomato. So let's clear all this out and get new plants in. And like I said, I'm literally just gonna dump all of these into this raised bed over here that we started planting garlic in the fall, and it's looking great, but I didn't pay attention too much to this side other than putting leaves. So we're gonna add some of this mix that didn't go quite well, just so it can break down and we can add compost and kind of get it back into a better shape. So what went wrong? Why did all of my peppers fail so epically when all my other stuff, my tomatoes and those things, went so well? Well, honestly, I don't have an answer. I wish I did. I think, asterisk there, think that the humidity dome created too much humidity for these guys and the seeds rotted. That would be my best guess, is that I didn't take it off quick enough. And it just got too hot. That's my best guess. So we're going to try again, keep the humidity dome on, but only for like 2 days, and then take that off, leave the heat mat and light on, similar to, again, what we did with the tomatoes, and we had pretty good success there. So go ahead and replant all of these guys, and we'll be done with garden chore number 1. And now we're on to garden chore number 2. So the tomatoes have just absolutely taken off. They look beautiful. But I have done what you're not supposed to do and put multiple in a single cell. I think this one has 4. So they're starting to compete for nutrients. So what I'm going to do, especially because I don't want them to get leggy and it looks like some of the roots are coming out of the bottom, is I'm going to pot them in these 6-inch pots. I got these from the Dollar Tree. Now these ones I'm comfortable putting 2 or 3 in here until they get outside. So I'm going to try and gently pull these apart and give them more room to grow. So we can absolutely see the size difference in these two. So I know they'll have enough room and I can bury them a little bit deeper versus like another plant that you would just plant as is. I'm going to make sure these get buried pretty close to these bottom leaves to encourage those deep roots. I'm also not going to just like yank this up by the stem because I don't want to break any of the roots. So I'm going to kind of squish the side, which is why I don't mind that these are plastic because they're malleable, until that soil loosens, and kind of pinch towards the bottom and gently pull up. And we can see this guy had quite a bit of roots here. And we're going to plop them into his new home, her new home. And I'm going to add maybe another 1 or 2 into here, and that'll be its new home. So from a tiny cell into a bigger pot, finally we'll be able to start hardening them off as spring gets, but this will give them more room before that time. These ones where I had multiple in, I'm just going to slowly try and like rub the soil until the roots show themselves, and I'm being delicate. Although I think tomatoes are one that you can kind of rough up a little bit and they'll bounce back pretty quickly. But all I have to do, like you see here, is just kind of rub, and now they've separated themselves out in order to have 4 little tomato seedlings. So I really overcrowded my Romas. I guess I didn't think that they were going to germinate, but if you don't want to separate them out, that's totally fine. Some people will do like a survival of the fittest situation, and they'll say, okay, this guy is starting to have some true leaves where this one isn't. Come down to the base and snip some of these. That is your choice, whatever you want to do in your garden, whatever works for you. I'm going to try and save them because I have the room, but I also have the understanding that probably not all of these are going to survive. And if they do, well, then I have more tomatoes than I know what to do with. But I have a feeling the majority of these are not going to survive, and that's okay. Okay, a better of what I was trying to show you. This guy is starting to get true leaves on the side here. Those are true leaves, and these are seed leaves. These are what first sprout up when the seed germinates. So you can see here, these are just the seed leaves, whereas we have true leaves here. So traditionally, I would snip this one and this one on the side here and only keep the ones that have true leaves. I'm going to try and save them all because that's just me. Reiterating, if I didn't make it clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with thinning out your seeds. I probably admittedly should have done it. I still have a whole tray of cherry tomatoes and I have at least 5 pots. I'm going to have to give some of these away. And now I don't have the attention for these plants that I could have spent. So maybe I should have thinned them out. What works best for your garden is what works best for you. Okay, I got a tray and a half still to do. You can also, and I've done this very successfully in the past, use plastic cups. Just stab a hole in the bottom for some drainage and plant your tomatoes or whatever, pot them in here. These work actually really well for tomatoes because it has all of this room for their deep roots. Again, use what you have and what works for you. So just giving you options. And we're done. We've moved some things around, planted some new guys, and I will keep you guys updated as always. Probably gonna have to do a little bit more of a rearrange here, especially with this cauliflower up here is way too crowded. So we're gonna have to move some of that around eventually, but for now, garden chores are complete. I will keep you all updated and I'll talk to you later. Bye everyone.